His divine grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki, Gaur Pimanandi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Canto 3, Chapter 13. continuing from yesterday, starting with text 18. There's a series of verses with no purports. This is Brahma contemplating the message you just received from Swayambhuva Manu that the earth had fallen out of orbit. He turned his attention to the personality of Godhead, and Maitreya is narrating this pastime, Lord Varaha's appearance pastime, to Vidura. Oh, sinless Vidura, all of a sudden, while Brahma was engaged in thinking, his thoughts are yesterday's verse, a small form of a boar came out of his nostril. The measurement of the creature was not more than the upper portion of a thumb. Oh, descendant of Bharata, while Brahma was observing him, that boar became situated in the sky in a wonderful manifestation, it was gigantic as a great elephant. Struck with wonder at observing the wonderful boar-like form in the sky, Brahma, with great brahmanas like Marichi, as well as the Kumaras and Manu, began to argue in various ways. In some, is this some extraordinary entity come in the presence of a boar, pretense of a boar? It is very wonderful that he has come from my nose. First of all, this boar was seen no bigger than the tip of a thumb, and within a moment he was as large as a stone. My mind is perturbed. Is he the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu? Purport. Since Brahma is the supermost person in the universe, and he had never before experienced such a form, he could guess that the wonderful appearance of the boar was an incarnation of Vishnu. The uncommon feature is symptomatic of the incarnation of Godhead. Can bewilder even the mind of Brahma. Text 23. While Brahma was deliberating with his sons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, roared tumultuously like a great mountain. Purport. It appears that great hills and mountains also have their roaring power because they are also living entities. The volume of the sound vibrated is in proportion to the size of the material body. While Brahma was guessing about the appearance of the Lord's incarnation as a boar, the Lord confirmed Brahma's contemplation by roaring with his gorgeous voice. Text 24. The omnipotent Supreme Personality of Godhead enlivened Brahma and the other highly elevated Brahmanas by again roaring with his uncommon voice, which echoed in all directions. Before Brahma and other enlightened Brahmanas who know the Supreme Personality of Godhead are enlivened by the appearance of the Lord in any of his multi-incarnations. The appearance of the wonderful and the gigantic incarnation of Vishnu as the mountain-like boar did not fill them with any kind of fear, although the Lord's resounding voice was tumultuous and echoed horribly in all directions, as an open threat to all demons who might challenge his omnipotency. I think we'll pause for a bit. On Sunday, we heard Queen Kunti's marveling at the mysterious features of the personality of God. And of course, she's addressing Krishna, and we know from Srimad Bhagavatam Krishna's unique position as the source of all incarnations, the source of everything, the absolute truth. And there's mysteries connected with the absolute truth. And we heard, he who is unborn becomes born. And although he, Krishna, is in a human-like form, which is very pleasing and appropriate for those in human-like forms to identify with and relate and serve, there's other forms of the Lord that are different, and they're fully transcendental also. And so we heard Vishwanath say that it's bewildering in this sense. One of the ways is he's diminishing his position to an animal, but then exalted souls, here we have examples of exalted souls, they're not regarding this Varaha form as material, a living entity like a boar, a living entity taking on a form of a boar and being, demeaned by having such an embarrassing form. It's not like that. That great souls understand. It's not like that. And then there's features of this uncommon form. The nature of his appearance. In a moment he became really big in the sky, and then bigger than that, and like a mountain. Mountains are big, really big. Zoom, very quickly. Certainly something mystical. And then the sound of his roar. And there's further descriptions of Lord Varaha. So the quality of his voice is not like, it's like that of something that's really big, like the sound of something really big, but it's pleasing in a way as even something that's really big isn't pleasing. And although that sound was tumultuous in volume, it wasn't fearful, it was sweet and pleasing, or at least pleasing. Because there's a transcendental nature of everything connected with the absolute truth. Now, the non-devotees don't recognize that. His contact with Hiranyaksha he wasn't fearful. Hiranyaksha was thinking, I'm invincible, and here's another mystic entity. As I have mystic powers, and I'll defeat him, because I'm so powerful. This is demoniac mentality. Because of that demoniac mentality, the person cannot recognize transcendence. Transcendence it negatively or positively. Transcendence is blocked. To understand spiritual reality, the soul, the supreme soul, the relation with the supreme soul, the unique position of devotional service. This is the nature of offensive or demoniac mentality. Everything becomes blocked. That Yogamaya Nama Prakasha Sarvasya Yoga Maya Samavita. Krishna speaking, so it's not just in his Krishna form, but any of his forms one can't recognize. It's just the feature of the external energy, and in contrast, the feature of the internal energy. The devotee, because of devotion, has access to that internal potency. And they can see. The potential, at least, is there to see what others cannot see, even what they could not see. But as devotion awakens, then one can start to see things that previously one could not see. Or in this case, Brahma and these exalted personalities, Marichi and others, Kumaras, named, Manu was named, they saw also, and they heard also. They didn't immediately understand. We heard that in the verses. So they're in unusual way kind of speculating. Is he this? Is he that? They come to know. They come to know by dint of disclosure by the personality of Godhead, not just by, yes, by his uncommon features. Even they just describe the eyes of Lord Brahma were so charming. Now who thinks of the eyes of the boar as being charming? How are we going to get past the feature of the boar to take a look at the eyes of the boar and see, are they charming? But the transcendental features, even of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur was describing, becomes a delight. Even the mystery becomes a delight. Keeping it in really simple terms, one of the in the early days, those who became followers of Srila Prabhupada were in the mood, like many people who are new at something, to leave behind the material entanglement. There's an extreme and artificial kind of renunciation. Yeah, common, not just the early days, but it's common. Someone starts the process of devotional service and they say, I don't have any interest in going to work anymore. I don't have any interest in doing my studies at school. Or I don't have any interest in anything that's of this world. I lost interest. It's a very, from my experience in having to give guidance to people that are starting bhakti, it's a common thing. It's not just for this age or this group of people. It's not always like that, but it's common. Extreme renunciation. And it's part of what the fear of people that know what spirituality looks like is they become really nervous when a family member, but to speak of their son or daughter, starts to take real serious interest in Krishna consciousness. They go, oh no, they're going to take sannyas. Because that's the common idea, karma sannyas. If you're going to be spiritual, you have to do karma sannyas. You have to give up everything. It's quite immature. And becoming more mature is not like find a nice healthy balance of attachment to detachment. The mature position is to understand everything belongs to Krishna, engage everything in service to Krishna. Anyway, in the early days, one of the devotees asked Prabhupada, is it okay to appreciate the beauty of sunset in the evening, or a rose and its fragrance and the beauty of a rose? Because, there's so much poetry about such things. Persons in the mode of goodness appreciating a rose. There's one famous poem, a rose is a rose. You have to compare something to something that's very wonderful, and a rose is so special you can't compare it to anything because it's so special. So Prabhupada's answer was, yes, you appreciate the sunset or the beauty and the fragrance of the rose and think, how wonderful is my Krishna? That is to say, behind everything wonderful, there's Krishna. So what to speak of when this form of Radha comes, they've never seen anything like. But deductively, and then by quality, it's demonstrated. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not just a mystic or some kind of powerful entity. We heard the verse, Brahma is contemplating how amazing that this form came from my nostril. It is quite amazing. I mean, what a way to make an appearance on stage, come through the nostril of Brahma. My goodness. A boar from the nostril. That's really creative. Now, who can say if each of the appearances of Radha, that's the method that he uses for appearing? We don't know the answer to that question, but we know that there's more than one Radha. We heard that already yesterday. Red Radha, white Radha. And there's variation in the pastimes also. I think I'll spend a little bit of time on that topic. Variation on the pastimes. Just, even besides the color, white and red. A really nice, transcendentally wonderful description of this is found in Brihat Bhagavatamrita, where there's this narration of Krishna's encounter with Keshi. Now we have the Bhagavatam's Krishna's encounter with Keshi demon. And, he comes in and sent by Kamsa. He's, a terrorist. He terrorizes everybody, and he makes a loud sound with his giant body. And everyone's, oh, how terrible. So Krishna challenges, nice narration, Krishna challenges him, and Keshi charges at him. And Krishna ducks out of the way. And he goes charging, collapses, comes back to Krishna. So finally, very expertly, the way the Prabhupada narrates is the horse is controlled by his tongue. So when the horse is tamed, there's a bit or piece of something metal in the mouth of the horse, and because that's really sensitive, when you pull on this rein or you pull on that rein, it means left or right, because you control it that way. And after some time, the command of, I learned this from Varsana Swami, gi and ha. I don't know what those words mean, but a horse comes to know. This one, gi, means whatever left, and ha means right, because he pulls and says gi. Also, after some time, he doesn't even have to pull the reins, he just says gi and ha. You're like, okay. He gets trained up to turn left or turn right just through sound. Prasanna Swami told me that he had trained up some horses, or maybe it was oxen, or one or the other, to plow the field, and he was outside the field. He was just calling, green ha. And I don't know what, do a U-turn, there's some command for that one. From the practice and practice and practice and practice and practice, and it just became through sound he was able to control. Anyway, starts with the tongue for the horse, different creatures, different senses. So Krishna knew, he created horses, so he knows how to control the horse. So he put his fist in the mouth, and his fist got bigger and bigger, and it was hot, like molten iron. And it was burning in case he wanted to spit it out, but he couldn't because Krishna's fist got really big. And he died. But Brihad Bhagavatamrita describes a different conclusion because there's a different Keshi at different times. It's the same theme, but Krishna tamed Keshi, and Krishna kept Keshi in a corral. So from time to time, the cowherd boys would come and ride Keshi, have pastime riding Keshi. And then the explanation is there's variegatedness in the pastimes of the Supreme Lord because variety is the mother of enjoyment. The pastime is Krishna's enjoyment. So we're not told what the difference is between the red and the white Viraha. We're only told that Jiva Goswami says he's combining these two narrations. Which means, at least, besides color, there's some variegatedness in those pastimes of Viraha's appearance. But one thing that we can assume is this loud sound, tumultuous roaring, echoing in the sky. And what was the purpose of it? Well, multiple purposes. One is to let the pure devotees know the pleasing sound of his roaring, tumultuous voice, which didn't make them fearful, because they knew, like Prahlad knew, that the features exhibited by Nrsimhadev were meant for the demons. Prahlad was not afraid because that roaring sound and the gnashing of the teeth, and that's for the demons. And so he was undisturbed and not afraid. So the demigods, great sages and Brahma, they were not fearful. But another purpose of Lord Viraha was to warn the demons. Look out. Or whatever the sound was. Tumultuous sound. Because he had appeared Pritranaya Satanam Vinashaya Shaduskritam. He appeared to uplift the earth, but the reason the earth had fell out of its orbit, or had fallen out of its orbit, was Hiranyaksha, so it was appearing to deal with Hiranyaksha. So the tumultuous roar was for him, and others like him. And so, is it like a scare tactic, or what is it? It's ye tamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamiham. Because there are persons who regard him in an inimical fashion, he reciprocates with their regard for him. That you see me in an inimical fashion, you see me as enemy, fantastic, I'll be enemy. You see me as your dear most worshipable, fantastic, I'll appear before you as your dear most worshipable form of the Lord. And what we heard Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur say, on Sunday, the commentary, is he sniffed out, because that's part of what the apparatus of a boar is. They have a tongue, in the nose that's very sensitive. And they, with their nose, they ferret here and there to find something yummy, like stool. So, through his capacity of smell and his capacity of the tusks, which is a boar with tusks. As far as I've seen, there are boars without tusks, and there's boars with tusks, different species, different varieties. So he appeared as a boar to go into the, and I don't know why it's called the filthy place. You know, the Garbadak Ocean is a filthy place. How can that be? It's perspiration from the body of Lord Vishnu is sacred. But anyway, he described it at the bottom, even below the hellish planets, because the hellish planets start above that ocean. But in any case, it's from an impure, unclean place. So he came as a boar to go to that place, used his tusks, used his sniffing. It was appropriate for the occasion. So he assumed a form appropriate for the occasion, or the circumstance. Expert judge of time, place, and circumstance, personality. Okay. He creates a circumstance and he knows how to deal with the circumstance that he creates. So he delivered the earth and delivered Hiranyaksha and amazed the devotees. They felt very uplifted and pleased that they have been protected. The earth has been protected. The demigods overseeing the well-being of the universe. The Lord has saved us. Doesn't mean like, okay, now we don't have to do any service, but still take care of everything. They have their service. And when the service becomes disturbed by consent of the Supreme Lord, the demoniac Hiranyaksha did what he did. So in certain circumstances, the Lord's intervention is required directly, not just through his devotee. Of course, he can do something wonderful through his devotee too, but the Lord's protection is always there, therefore there's no fear. And say it negatively, there's fear when one doesn't understand there's protection of the Supreme Lord. And as a result, when it is identifying with the temporary body and the temporary circumstances and trying to address it on your own, and it's overwhelming. Illusion is overwhelming. Even if it looks nice, it's still overwhelming. Even if it looks not nice or negative, it's overwhelming. So the Bhagavatam is there to help us become like these great souls that hear this or see this amazing feature of the Lord, the glory, form, etc. And they're very pleased. And he reciprocates. He's doing this to reciprocate with them. And they can understand because of their devotion. And Hiranyaksha can't because of his demoniac mentality. Let's see if there's some discussion. Yeah. You're on.
Whenever I pray this pastime,
Whenever you hear this pastime?
Yes, I hear this pastime. A thought has been coming to me often that the reason the earth had fallen fallen down is because of so much exploitation, and the earth fell down. So now, right now, how we are exploiting all the resources of the earth.
It's risky.
It's risky. So I was wondering, but in the scriptures, it's not given that the earth may fall down again. So will it happen that Mother Earth is going to withdraw all her resources? What I'm just contemplating. What is the possibility?
Well, anything's possible, but we don't hear anything from Scripture indicating that. In this case, specifically, Prabhupada describes, Hiranyaksha created a tunnel all the way through the earth, and on the other side of the earth, he was gathering gold. If you can create a tunnel from the earth, you can get a large quantity of gold from somewhere, and that large quantity of gold is what caused the imbalance in the earth. So much, the balance was gone. So, this isn't Satya Yuga, where people have the capacity to disturb the balance of resources or raw materials from the earth to that degree. They just, Prabhupada's explanation about construction is, you just take from here and put it over there. Now there's all these big buildings. It's just taking some earth. So your question is, by doing that, taking from here and putting over there, is it going to result in the earth falling out of orbit? It's not from some other side of the planet, when the high-rise buildings are made, whatever the materials are, stone and cement and steel. It's not. Marble is taken from different parts of the world and taken long distances to get to their destination. But generally not earth. We're making cement and asphalt and bricks. So, not so likely. There's no indication from Scripture, and it's not so likely, because these are small demons compared to a big demon. Yes, they're disturbing the balance of the earth, but not to that degree. Not likely, nor is there indication from Scripture. That's an answer. It is. Yeah.
Maharaj, I have a question from yesterday's class
Okay.
about being perplexed.
Being perplexed.
I play many different roles of mother and wife and daughter-in-law.
An employee.
An employee.
A member of the community.
Right. So sometimes.
Student, a teacher.
Right.
Long list.
So sometimes there may be a situation where you have your prescribed duties as all those roles, and then there are services that has to be done. So, sometimes I don't know what to do, because I want to do this and I want to do that. I want to do both, but time constraints and limited capacities, resources, things like that.
Yeah.
So how to, and everything works on a mental platform, how you were saying, you keep bouncing back and forth.
Well, we choose from the platform of the mind, accepting, rejecting, sankalpa, vikalpa. But intelligence needs to drive the function of the mind. If there's material intelligence, it's on the platform of enjoyment. And if it's spiritual intelligence, it's on the platform of Krishna's enjoyment. No, so I'm just commenting on the platform of the mind. There's different answers to your question. one answer is time management, but experience says we're limited. That's reality. We're limited, and so we can't do all that we want to do. So how do you prioritize when there's two things you want to do and two things that need to be done? And as far as you can see, there isn't time to do them both. So what do? You have to choose something. You can just be paralyzed or immobilized, not able to do anything because you're too caught up in, a little bit like Shantarupa's question yesterday. I get lost in trying to sort out between this and that, and neither of them are happening, and how do I handle that? What to speak of, say in your case, your health is, as far as I know, reasonably good. And then there's people that their health is not so reasonably good. And there are different factors that lead, so that's just part of the limitation element, besides time management. It's important to be able to communicate to others who may be expecting you to perform some duty, whether it's children or husband or job or the other functions and roles that you play. That, my intention doesn't match in this case or for this period of time my limitations. So let's consider together a way that this need, because it's a need, to recognize the need, to manage the carrying out of it. So it's, working in a collaborative way with other persons who are affected by something that's needed. I make sure that goes on in your home periodically, if not regularly. Things that husband is expecting, or children are expecting something or something, and then consolidating the various roles. Getting an anxiety about it makes it worse. One becomes less capable and less discerning and less, decisive. Weaker in time management because of being overwhelmed or feeling that some negative emotion of one kind or another. I'm a failure, or not good enough, or stress. It debilitates everything. So that's a caution is to beware of that. Don't go there. Try to not go there. And you may, one of the options is you just diminish the things that you yourself are recognized you're able to do. You just don't take on roles and services beyond what's realistic. At work or in the home or in the community, or so something that establishes that confidence in your self-worth is the big rock. That's sadhana, comes first. So that doesn't get compromised. You may be able to do less, you may be able to do more, depending upon a period of time with the family or with work or with circumstances. Janmashtami, Balaram's appearance day, Janmashtami coming up, Radhastami is like. So be mindful about limitations before you say yes to things that are important that you really like. That was the language you use, you like to do, you want to do. we're going to see tonight this pyramid chart of needs. And everything, the different needs need to be aligned with the topmost. And we're not always going to get it right, the alignment principle. But that's the corrective measure, finally, is the alignment principle. Aligning everything with the source of everything. And I'm not always going to get it right, and that's okay. But I'll refine and refine and refine to align with that which is the top of the pyramid, pleasing Krishna. And then other needs that go down the pyramid, aligning all of them. So it's a big part is time management. A big part of time management is priorities, and part of priorities is recognizing my limitations. When you put it all together in your question, and just accept there's some things that I like to do and needs to be fulfilled, that for myself and for others, it just can't always be met. And then you communicate accordingly. And a final comment, and it's a nice question, it's just very practical. My experience is that capacity to do things comes from Krishna, and the more you're aligned with Krishna, the more you have capacity to do things. People that are really busy have some empowerment from Krishna to achieve what they're able to achieve. That power comes from Krishna. But some people don't recognize that, and they think it's due to piety or something, due to their cleverness or something. But ultimately, Krishna is the source, and for devotees, it's just, that doesn't get compromised because that's the source of my ability to do things effectively, efficiently, and it's just resting upon core Krishna consciousness, that's resting upon core Krishna conscious activity, our hearing and chanting and worshipping, etc. So don't beware of the urgency, need, eclipsing where the source of strength is coming from. Beware. It's a diseased condition of life, and it goes further and further once the disease starts to try to check. Anything else? You have something.
Once we are going through the different types of incarnations in this the third chapter of first canto.
Third chapter, first canto.
Yeah, the Purushankaras and the appearance as saviors, and then we did the Varaha and Kapila, sage Kapila, like that it's being counted in that chapter. But when I was reading 10th canto, Krishna liberating Mujkunda, when Krishna coming Mujkunda, and Mujkunda, to Mujkunda Krishna says, I have taken thousands of births, lived thousands of lives, and accepted thousands of names. And even I cannot count that, Krishna says. And in the next verse he says, you might count the particles of dust, but you cannot count the names and the birds and like that. That is very, very bewildering.
It's very what?
Bewildering. I mean, how how many incarnations?
How many?
I mean, how many thousands?
That's your question?
Yeah.
That's your question?
And could you comment on that one? And there's so many incarnations.
Well, you've answered your question. Even Krishna can't count. So you want me to count?
Now, with the Bhagavatam, we have only, it looks like Bhagavatam has only so many.
Well, it's a synopsis. It's not everything. If I forget the number, but the Bhagavatam in the heavenly planets, ours is 18,000, and the Bhagavatam is some large number, much larger number. I forget the number. But so this is a synopsis, and that's an expanded version. But what's the limit? You've got the answers. Even Krishna doesn't know the limit. And it's very similar to Anantashesha, because he's Ananta. And through his mouth he's chanting the glories, and he can't find the end to chanting the glories. So that's part of the inconceivableness, achintya quality of the source of everything. How's that? You're happy? Okay. It's nice to see that you're reading Bhagavatam, source of inspiration.
Maharaj, every day she reads to the lordships after Aarti, every single day.
And Patil Prabhu gave me that role a few years ago. So
How much time do you spend doing that every day?
about 45 minutes.
Fantastic.
They love the candle.
You'll become very dear to them.
She's already in the 11th canto.
I understand.
Well, the numerical nature of what you're doing is wonderful, but most wonderful is before the personality of Godhead, He will hold you very dear to Him. And how that will take its shape, who can say? But it's an unquestionable fact. Unquestionable fact. So that's maybe a nice place to end for this morning. Srila Prabhupada Ki.
Yeah.